All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Monday Motivation Meeting. It's November 29th. It's almost over, folks. November is almost over. We're almost at the last month of the year of 2021. The last month is right around the corner. The next Monday Motivation Meeting will be in December. So, today's topic, what are we going to talk about? What are we going to get motivated by today? Well, I'm going to tell you what's got me fired up for today. And the topic is called Disconnect to Connect. Have you lost your mind, Coach Hall? What does that mean? How do you disconnect to connect? Well, let me tell you. What you got to do is take off your shades first and look you in the eye. Okay, because this is serious. I've been going through kind of a rough spell. This has been a tough year, and I got all fired up. I wanted to get my marketing program going. I wanted to run a big advertising campaign and all these things. Life got in the way, and I wasn't picking up the information as quickly as I thought I might be able to. I thought I was a little smarter than maybe I am. And, I'm running into some issues in that regard. But I did make some progress, and so I feel good about where I'm at now compared to where I was before, but still I was kind of stressed out. I didn't hit some marks. I wanted to really get the school going and all these sorts of things. And started losing some focus, started recognizing I'm making some mistakes, not just in the process of what I'm doing in terms of marketing, that whole thing, but just kind of in everyday life. Seem to be making a few mistakes here and there. Okay, what's going on about that? Well, what's going on is I'm just kind of feeling a little bit stressed out, and I'm feeling pulled and drawn. And so at this point in time, with the Thanksgiving holiday coming up, it just has passed, by the way, but kind of going backwards in time here a little bit, I decided on Wednesday that it's time to disconnect. Just gonna take my phone and I'm gonna put it away and not look at it so much. If it rings, I might answer it. But even once in a while, I decided, I'm gonna put that sucker on silent mode. Don't bother me, right? And every once in a while, I would check in because we did have a family function this weekend, or this past weekend, and I wanted to make sure that everybody's on the same base, and we were gonna meet when we were gonna meet and find out what all the details were about our Friday get together for Thanksgiving. And so I couldn't completely just disconnect in that regard. But I did my best to stay away from all the social media, including the LLE group. I did peek in once or twice maybe, and then I felt really bad afterward because I made a commitment to myself. My self-commitment was disconnect from this sucker. Okay, so I disconnected to connect. And man, that was the best thing for me. Because, this thing with the notifications and all that kind of stuff that pops in and, being a part of a group, and I love all the folks that are a member of LLE, but if my attention is only here in the group, which is out there in the cyber world, which is part of the global world, obviously, but it's not next to me. It's not, it's not this. I'm not touching anything but this drink that I'm having right now. I can't physically see you guys in a three-dimensional form. Can't shake your hand, can't give you a big hug, can't give you a big kiss on the cheek, which I'd love to do for many of you folks. But I can do that with the folks that are in my life here. And what I felt was happening was a bit of a tug of war going on, okay? Big tug of war. And so I decided to do something, even though I knew there was going to be a bit of a risk involved. It might actually result in losing some folks along the way. And by the way, the group size is now at 69, so maybe my risk came true in terms of what could actually happen. I might lose a few of you. And I don't think that has anything directly to do with this, but I do know that my attention hasn't been as high as I'd like it to be in the LLE. So I really needed some time to stop this kind of trying to give as much attention as I can uh, while doing everything else that's going on in my life. And I basically said, you know what, I'm going to just really step away. And I did. I didn't post anything. I didn't post myself in my bedroom, taking a picture of my bed, drinking my water, and doing any of these things I've been doing just about every day. I stayed away from all that. I didn't even look on Facebook for a few days. And honestly, it was the best thing that ever happened. And so my motivation to you guys today is to really look at this disconnecting to connect concept. Because what tends to happen is that we get so focused on, what's going on this flat screen, what's going on. I'm looking at my desktop computer now. I'm filming this. So I'm looking at the camera, and you guys are watching this, and you're not watching it right now because I'm recording it now. You're getting a replay of it because I'm going to record it, put it on YouTube, put the link here, and that's how you guys will watch it. So it's going to be delayed from the real time that I actually produce this. And if I make a couple of mistakes, because I'm an editor, I'll chop that out too, so you won't even get the hiccups, if you will. But the point is that my attention's been so much on this in the last few years. I put out over 30 courses, and it's just been about providing as much information and as much help as I can to my students around the world. And I've hit some great mile markers, and I'm very proud of what I've been able to do. But it's time to take care of what's happening in the present world as well, my physical world. And I've been kind of going back and forth and trying to manage both of these things for a while. And it's been a struggle. So when I made this decision to say, you know what, I'm just going to drop this for a few days, I was able to really connect with the people that were in front of me. With my wife and all four of my kids, my mom, my in-laws, my brothers, my brother from another mother we've kind of adopted. He's always around all the Thanksgiving and the Christmases and the New Year's and whenever. He's just, whenever we have a family gathering, he's always invited, because he's like family. And all the sister-in-laws and all the cousins, and well, not the cousins, but the nieces and the nephews and stuff like that. So we had 18 people at our gathering. And what was wonderful about making that decision to disconnect was that I was able to give 100% attention to the people I was speaking with. I got a chance to actually speak with some of these folks that are very important in my life, and really connect with them on a level that is important, and as a coach, I provide that level of listening, the 3 A's of listening: being available, being attentive, and being aware, right? That's important. And so I was able to do that. In fact, it was funny because that became a topic of conversation with my son and a good friend of ours about the difficulty that they're having in their lives with people listening. And so we talked about some of these things. So I was able to really get in on a deeper level with people that are very important in my life, and actually teach them a little bit. And I learned from them too. They shared with me things that are going on in their life. And this was just something I think I've been neglecting to a certain extent, because I've been so caught up in my mission that maybe there's a good chance that when I was with other people, I haven't really been 100% there, because I'm, as soon as the notification would go off, boom, boom, oh, I got a question about my course, the course coach hall, can you answer? Oh, let me get to my student real quick. And so I've been kind of programmed to a point where I'm just going to take care of my students, and I'm just going to take care of my mission. And I haven't been taking care to 100% the connections that I have in the physical realm. You know what I'm saying? And nobody's ever said anything to me, and I think I'm pretty good at listening better than the average person out there, because that's trained to do this now, right? And so I think people probably have felt like I've given 100%, but I know down inside really haven't been 100% there, because I'm waiting for the bell to ring, right? I'm waiting with the anticipation to help somebody. And so the refreshing takeaway from all this was that when I decided to pick this up again, like late last night, I was like, ooh, what am I going to talk about today at the Monday motivation meeting? Because I usually start thinking about these things a couple of days in advance. And the only thing that could pop into my head was how fantastic I was feeling about the connections that I've made. Again, reconnecting that I've made. And how wonderful the last few days were. And how close I feel to my family again, which has kind of been missing. I've been for years now going to gatherings and stuff and feeling something wasn't quite right. Even though I'm there speaking to folks and doing things with them and enjoying meals together and sharing in small talk and all that, I don't think my mind was fully into it. It just didn't feel that way. And so sometimes we have to make the conscious decision to go, you know what, I'm going to put this sucker away, and I don't want to hear from it, see from it, or know from it for 24 hours, 48 hours, a week. I've heard stories about people who do that and they go away for a whole month and they just go out into a cabin somewhere, and every one of them come back and say it's the greatest thing they've ever done. Maybe I'll do that one day. But we don't have to go away for a whole month. We can make the conscious decision, because we are masters of our minds if we choose to do so. We can make the choice of, I'm not going to be a slave to this notification making machine. I'm not going to answer every email when they come in. I'm not going to answer every text as soon as it bings and rings and dings on my phone. I'm going to put all that on pause. The world's going to keep spinning. Problems will be solved. Everything's going to be okay if I answer them a day later, if I answer them 2 days later, 3 days later. Most likely, it's not that urgent. It's probably not even that important. It's probably mostly something somebody wants or desires, and that isn't the same in the same category necessarily. And so that's a thing that we need to focus on here. As a motivation, I would say to you guys to make sure you know what's really important, what's really urgent. Focus on those things and make sure they line up with your values. And if you value connection like I do, and I look at connection from the inside out, if you will, I've got to be connected with me, otherwise everything else is going to fall apart, become unraveled. And that's basically what happens with that folks that go through depression and anxiety and panic. Your inner world is just shaking up and falling apart, so you can't really connect to the outer world. So you got to get that together. Then you want to start with the closest folks around you, those that really are the most important in your life. And sometimes you got to go through an identification process to see if that person that you're hanging out with is really good for you. Are they toxic to you? Are they negative? Maybe you got to get rid of that person, right? And find somebody else that's more aligned with you, and get those folks into your life, right? Spend time with those folks. And with family, maybe it's not as easy to disconnect from them, but you can use your techniques that you're learning in all these courses to steer conversation in a more positive direction. And if they want to talk negatively, just talk to them about behavior goals versus emotional goals, because most likely they're speaking from the emotional part. And you can get in there and gain rapport with them by talking at that emotional level. Okay, we talk about all this stuff in ACT, we talk about it in 6FEM, and even the Cognition Tower, and most of the courses that I teach. So this should be very familiar for most of you. It's just practice what you're learning, and maybe the family gathering is a good place to start practicing these things. Even if you don't aspire to become a coach and help others, you can use these techniques not just on yourself in terms of becoming a self practitioner, but you can use these techniques with those close relationships that are important in your life. The big takeaway is that I'm a testimony, as well as I'm going to take this opportunity to remind us that sometimes we just have to disconnect to connect. And we should do this on a somewhat regular basis, probably at least once a week. I'm going to start practicing just disconnecting on Sundays. I'm just going to turn everything off. I'm not going to look at anything on Sundays and see if that helps. And then once in a while, maybe once time a month, I might go the whole weekend. I pick up the phone, not look at it. And then once in a while, probably around the holidays, maybe every 3 or 4 months, take a week off. They go away. I pick this thing up and just connect on what's around me. Connect with the people around me. Connect with nature. Connect with my family, my friends. Connect with my pet, or pets if you have more than one pet. It's really, really important, because this is where we're really at. We are in a here and now moment. And if we don't accept that reality, then we can get caught up into this external world, which is great and wonderful, but it isn't the same. It doesn't impact your senses the same way. You have senses that you can use: your smell, your touch, your eyesight, and your hearing. Your senses, you're sensing and you're feeling the world, versus maybe you can jump on a Zoom call and have a nice conversation with somebody, but you can't reach out and shake their hand. You can't see the rest of their body to check out some mannerisms. If you got just a headshot, you can't really see if the knee and the toe is tapping away like this, like they're nervous, or they've got some. But full body, you could. Okay, they look pretty cool up here, but down there the world is shaking up. So there's some limitations with this, and we do the best we can, and I encourage us to continue helping each other out with the limits that we have with conference calling and such. But the point is that we can't just get completely caught up into this sort of virtual world, because that's what it is. I'm a virtual person to you, and you're a virtual person to me, and I love you to death, and I hope you love me too. But we still have to connect with what's inside our physical world, and I want to remind you guys of that, because again, I'm a testimony to the fact that it does wonders to you, for you, and will really help you get motivated moving forward. So the motivation that I'm talking about isn't a speech or a word or something. It's an action that you can take. The action is to disconnect to connect. Okay, so I'm going to send you guys off this week. Hopefully you'll spend a little time disconnecting, and even if you have to shut off the LLE for a couple days, and good for you. But if you want to check in, make sure you check out Sonja's messages every day. They're so inspiring. They do my heart a world of good, and hopefully they're doing the same for you guys. Okay, and you'll see me posting quite a bit this week. And I'm going to try to get back into the swing of things. In December, we're going to go. And then when we get towards the Christmas holiday season and New Year's, we'll be taking some time off again before we get going in 2022. All right, so that's going to do it for this Monday motivation meeting. And again, as a reminder, I want you guys to live long and prosper, wear your shades and keep cool in life, and share the love.